Hey, yay. And thus begins the most heartwarming buddy road trip type story with the newly formed comedic duo, Arya and Sander Clegane. Yeah, the wolf and the hound, so to speak, paraphrasing the title of that xeno-fiction story. Well, perhaps not so heartwarming. And to be sure, not exactly a buddy couple, but yeah, there you go. In fact, I guess you could say that this is one of the subplots where the HBO TV series kind of did go in the direction of giving audiences what they want. You know, these two characters sort of warming up to each other within limits, but a la, why can't we be friends? You know, whereas in the book, the relationship between Arya and Sander is a lot more dry, if not hostile. You know, George R. R. Martin being notorious for not giving readers what they want or expect. The HBO series, on the other hand, had such a great chemistry between the two actors, you know, on their hands, that it would have been a shame not to make the most of it. So they did. Anyway, right, here we are. Welcome, dear listener, to the rambling commentaries of an insane person online. We are reading Arya IX today from A Storm of Swords. So let's see where we are. The Hound has snatched Arya from the Brotherhood without banners, and things might have gone from bad to worse for her. But we don't know that yet. Who knows? We begin the chapter with Sander cursing language, young man, because a river that they're supposed to cross, has flooded and the bridge is kaput. I mean, forget about the bridge. I mean, the river itself has swollen to the point that it must now be a mile across, or so reckons Arya, because it has been raining non-stop in the riverlands, and that's what tends to happen after it rains incessantly, you know. In fact, all you can see of the trees growing around what used to be the original course of the river is just the tips of the trees. And I have seen landscapes submerged by catastrophic floods like that. It's not pretty. Like, off the top of my head, Prague and Dresden in 2002. Prague, Czech. I know I'm sounding like one of those old men in a tavern. Oh, this is nothing compared to the great flood of 2002. No, that was the great blizzard of 2002, surely. Yeah, no, but yeah, I remember, because I remember all those islands in the middle of the Vltava River. I mean, they were so far below the water level that all you could see of those islands were the tips of the trees. So that's Arya and the Hound right now, riding the same horse. Arya being so tiny that there's room for her too on the saddle, you know, in front, you know, while Sander sits right behind her. He's the one handling the reins. And he's looking a mess, because for a change, with his arms still not quite healed from the burns he suffered in that trial by combat. Do you know what? I think that setting the blade on your sword on fire, is a bit of a dirty trick, isn't it? Don't you think? I mean, it did give Beric Dondarrion an unfair advantage, no? And Arya thinks that this river might be the Black Water. So she asks Sander, Oi, Hound, is this the Black Water rush? But Sander isn't forthcoming. He just goes, it's a river we must cross. That's all you need to know. Why would she think that it's the Black Water rush, the river that they're supposed to cross? Well, because she feels that the reason the Hound has captured her is to take her back to King's Landing. After all, Sander's last job description, as far as Arya remembers, was within the rank and file of the King's Guard, more specifically tasked with guarding King Joffrey. So he was very much a Lannister man on the Lannister payroll, which was indeed confirmed to her, you will remember, by what the Mad Huntsman called the Hound. Remember, right after capturing him and dragging him to Stony Sept, Arya heard him say, "We're gonna confiscate your Lannister gold and blow it all on sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Ha ha ha, and there ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it." Or something to that effect. Well, I should probably tell you some of these dialogues will be slightly paraphrased. But my point is that with the information available to Arya right now, it would make sense to her for her to believe that the reason Sandor was in the Riverlands in the first place because he had been tasked to go out there and bring Arya back to King's Landing. It would make sense for her to believe that with the scraps, bits and pieces of information she has. Now, we readers know better because we know that Sandor actually deserted the Kingsguard as well as the Lannister army, whatever, rank he had in the middle of the raging battle, the Blackwater, Stannis' troops pressing and so on and so forth. And from what we remember, it was the wildfire that did it. That was like, I draw the line on wildfire. Oh, no. I'm getting the hell out of here. And, Sandor being a deserter, we also know Tywin, we know how, that Tywin Lannister tends to deal rather harshly, rather rudely, shall we say, with deserters. We know that from that small council meeting in Tyrion 3, this same book, where Tywin is asked, okay, so next item of the agenda, what do we do with all those guys who deserted their posts from the City Watch, who are now returning to the barracks? And Tywin casually went, let's, and you know what, let's smash their kneecaps and throw them all in the streets. That's how I roll. To which even Varys recoiled, whoa. That sounds a bit dark, even by my standards, and we all know what I do to my little informants. I don't know if this was like sort of conveyed to us in scraps of conversation, and that conversation he had with Magister Illyrio, having the kids' tongues removed. So, whoa. But Varys said, that's, even by my standards, that's a bit dark, don't you think? Shouldn't we just send them to the wall, Night's Watch, which I'm under the impression is a little understaffed at the moment. But Tywin was all like, but no. Nah. So we know that, given that policy, we know that the Hound wouldn't even dream of showing his face back at King's Landing, right now. But Arya doesn't know all that. In fact, you know what? At a first read, I remember that the one sentence that kept haunting me was that throwaway line spoken by Roose Bolton in Jaime 5. Arya has been found. That line, I kept going, okay, when are we going to read that? What's going on? So consequently, every new Arya chapter I started reading, I kept expecting some dudes on the Bolton payroll to pop up and snatch Arya up. Little did I know, right? No, in fact, at some point, I think I got all my chronology muddled up in a previous chapter, because I thought, okay, so maybe Bolton on his way to the Twins will somehow find Arya in one of her wanderings, either with the Brotherhood Without Banners or with the Hound, and he will snatch her up. And then I thought, no, I'm an idiot. How is that possible? Since Roose Bolton doesn't head towards the twins until after he has explained to Jamie that Arya Stark has been found. Yes, sorry, dear listener. I know. Where is my mind at? I believe there should be like an apology of this nature in every single commentary I make. What are you gonna do? Sometimes it just time with being a fluid concept, you see. But yeah, little did I know indeed, and I shall not say a word about it because spoilers. My spoiler policy being none. I'll try not to give out any spoilers in case you, listener, happen to be a first-time reader, and in this series, if there are any references to other chapters, well, they will be past chapters, not future chapters. I will be looking back, but not ahead. That's what I will strive to do. And Arya, anyway, so it's not the Blackwater Rush, this river here. She doesn't follow up on her question because the Hound has laid down a whole lot of ground rules for this road trip. Don't ask, are we there yet? Being one of them. Do not. No. I gotta pee. Are we there yet? No, none of that. We will have none of that. No, but also don't try to kill me. Ideally, that's probably prioritized. That's on top of the list. Please do not try to kill me. Yeah, like the other day when you tried to smash my head with a rock because you thought I was sleeping, and I had to take that rock from you, so you kicked me in the ribs a bit. Okay, as you can see in the thumbnail of this very commentary. So I let it go that one time. Okay, I'll let you kick me in the ribs a few times, but next time you try something funny, yeah? I'll tie you up like a salami, and instead of a passenger, you'll be my cargo. There, like a sack of potatoes. So there. Which, all in all, looks like a sort of a mild response from someone with the vicious and violent reputation that the Hound happens to enjoy, no? In fact, the whole time these two are together, I don't know, tell me if you also experienced it. There's a disturbing vibe hovering these Arya and Sandor chapters, like impending tragedy. The same type of tragedy I sort of expected when Sandor threatened Sansa at knife point. The song he forced her to sing. You know what I mean? I thought, okay, is this gonna get worse? Please don't. Because I remember reading these chapters, even these chapters, the first time, and I constantly went, no, please no. And no. You'll be pleased to know that my fears were unfounded. No content warning needed. In fact, the only time the Hound does threaten actual violence is when Arya mentions Micah, as you would expect her to, because she does it all the time. But he doesn't want to hear that name, ever. Because, it's kind of transparent, isn't it? He does not want to be reminded of that one time when, obeying orders from Joffrey, he had to kill an unarmed boy. I'm not saying that Micah haunts his every nightmare, but let's just say the Hound is not proud of what he did that day. Let's put it like that. So they keep going. Arya keeping her mouth shut as per rules and regulations, and all the while thinking that the Brotherhood without banners aren't likely to give up the ransom they were planning to get for Arya, not without a fight. And Thoros, well, besides, let's not forget, Thoros can see stuff in the flames, So sure, sooner or later, she would expect the brothers to turn up, or so she hopes. Meanwhile, next stop, Harroway Town in the land ruled by Lord Root, where hopefully the two-headed water horse is still there. None of which makes any sense to Arya. Sorry, I don't know the meaning of any of that. Lord who now? Harroway Town? What does... Okay, no, she doesn't actually. She doesn't ask any questions as per a policy. Yeah, she just goes, yeah, whatever you say, man. Yeah, two-headed water horse. Yeah, hey, sure, why not? Whatever. Yeah. And half the time, Sander is actually asleep on the saddle, trusting his horse to take the right path. You know what? Who reminds me? Who Sandor reminds me of here? Trinity. Did you ever see that spaghetti western? They called him Trinity. Yeah, it's a bit like that. Trinity was slightly better looking. You've never seen that movie? You totally should. In fact, the theme from Trinity was even borrowed by Quentin Tarantino for Django Unchained. He's the top of the West. Okay, I'm not gonna sing it. I'll leave you free to do your research and hopefully locate that movie because it's a bit of fun. Not now. Stay with me. Okay, so so he trusts the horse to know the way, and the horse is actually quite trustworthy with Sandor anyway, though it's quite nasty as they come as far as everyone else is concerned. And his name is Stranger. The horse's name is Stranger, which, as we were reminded in the previous chapter, Samuel 3, Stranger is the name of death, according to the faith of the seven. A name you should try to mention as little as possible, Sam told us, let alone naming your horse after him, In fact, in a future book, we will hear a Septon's opinion on the matter, which is that, that naming your horse Stranger is blasphemous. Which I think really that, all those blasphemy policies really originate exactly from that, if you want my opinion on it. It's just fear of jinxing things, Don't mention so-and-so in vain. You don't want to piss them off. Don't wake them up, the divinities. Don't mention death too often if you don't want death to come and pay you a visit. I think that's what it comes from. Blasphemy comes from that, If you name something, then you'll jinx it, you'll attract it, and that being the conviction. And so what does that tell you about a man who actually gives the name of death to the horse that he mounts every day? And they finally get to this Haraway town. Guess what? It's also submerged underwater, like pretty much everything else in the Riverlands. Except there's still one sort of a toll station, I guess you could call it, and a boat to take people across the river. A boat that, what do you know, has a pair of great carved wooden horse heads mounted fore and aft. There you go. That's your two-headed water horse. It's a ferry. It's a boat. The guys in the toll house don't look all too pleased at the weather, so they go, "Here, what do you want? What do you want? To go across the river? It's not gonna be cheap, yeah? All right, I'll pay. I'm good for it, mate." Which Arya knows he's not. Because as I said, the Brotherhood without banners confiscated all his gold. So, but the tall guys, that's what I'm going to call them. Yeah? The ferry men, whatever. There's like a dozen of them, and they all seem to be running a family business, except that business is slow at the moment. So, they get the ferry ready. All right, okay, what a way to make a living, yeah, I know, yeah. So they all get on board, Sandor, Arya, Stranger, at which point they're told that crossing Sandor, Arya, and Stranger, they're told that. They even tell it to Stranger, because why not? They say, yeah, the crossing will cost you, 3 dragons. What are you going to do? Times being what they are. Yeah. 3 gold dragons. Aha! Currency, my dear listener. I told you I was going to keep track of currency from now on. So let's see how much. I got my ledger here and everything, like a good geek. So let's see how much the price for this ride compares with various other commodities. For example, most recent entry, Lord Selwyn of Tarth offered as a ransom for his daughter Brienne 3 gold dragons. 300. Yeah, oh my God. 300 gold dragons. So that's the ransom you can expect, dear listener, if you ever happen to kidnap a highborn person in Westeros, right? Also, the same Brienne, back at the Inn of the Kneeling Men, bought 3 horses with 3 gold dragons, and at the time Jaime thought she was being ripped off, and this was in Jaime 2, and later Tyrion at the market square was dismayed at seeing that a gold dragon could only buy you a side of beef or 6 skinny piglets. It's all here. That was back in Tyrion 4, my dear listener. So let's see how much Sandor Clegane is being charged here. Again, 3 dragons, so either 3 horses, that's the price of a ride across the river. So let's see, 3 of them, that's good horses, yeah, proper knight palfreys. Or a cow and a half, if you do the maths, a side of beef being half a cow. Or, if that's your taste, 18 skinny piglets. That's quite a lot, huh? Or I suppose 12 fat piglets. Negotiable, depending, we'll have to decide on a case-by-case basis. So anyway, and incidentally, remember that Arya is also highborn. So presumably, we can expect her ransom to be worth 100 of those ferry rides, 300 gold dragons. That'd be 100 of those ferry rides, or 50 back and forth, if that's how you want to spend your money. Although I wouldn't advise it. Okay, never mind. It all goes in my currency ledger, as I promised. It should be said that the Hound does feel like he's been ripped off, which the ferrymen kind of confirm, because they go, yeah, sure. I mean, I know you could have bought a ferry just like this one with 3 dragons only last year. But with this flood and me needing more men to risk their lives every time, that's the price. Take it or leave it. So really, currency ledger aside, yeah, it should be said we are probably measuring all this in a what do you call it, in an inflated value sort of. I'm no economist. Sort of a period. So these readings aren't really 100% accurate. These are strange times. Now, right now, because of the floods. Earlier on, throughout the countryside, because of war and the scarcity of resources, the prices at King's Landing market have always been high ever since the Tyrells blocked supplies of food. Again as a consequence of war, but also because they were playing their own political game and they wanted to look like super popular when they finally released all these goods to be delivered to King's Landing. So the general populace would go, yay, Tyrells, they rock, they're like super awesome, forgetting that they were the ones blocking, withholding resources in the first place. But anyway, okay, so yeah, it's 3 gold dragons is what the man is trying to tell Sandor. So no beating around the bush with all this currency talk. Don't try to confuse me. It's still 3 gold dragons, and we would like to see them in advance, if you don't mind. But after Sandor tells them that, look, either I pay with gold on that side of the river over there, or I pay you with steel on this side of the river, referring to his sword. You see what he's done, what he's doing there. And he must have borrowed a page from the the Ironborn, because the Iron Prize as opposed to the Gold Prize. It's got some parallels here. And later on there will be references to a kraken. Yeah, I remember. Oh, we'll get there when we get there. Anyway, so after being told that, that's the choice, would you prefer, huh? The steel price or the gold price? Okay, well, I guess the ferrymen, find Sandor's argument quite persuasive. And so the ferry guy, for the second time, takes Arya for a boy, and worse this time, he seems under the impression that she's Sandor's son, which really infuriates her. But what can you do? So, shut up, Arya, says Sandor. Don't stop complaining. Go below deck and warm yourself by the brazier. Is that how it's pronounced? Do you know? I've only ever seen it written. Confession time. How often do you see a brazier? Want to look that up. All right, anyway, yeah, so, interestingly, when asked for some assurances that he'll pay once he gets across, the Hound goes, yeah, of course I'll pay you, on my honor as a knight, which he's not. And this shows that, really, for all the contempt Sandor has for the whole, hypocrisy of the concept of knighthood, knights being honorable guys in name only. And he has a living example in his own family to show that that knights are far from being honorable guys, sworn to protect the innocent and the weak and whatnot. So for all the contempt he has for these empty, hollow words, still, he does know how to exploit all that mambo-jumbo when it suits him. Ha-ha. So there. Paradox. So, anyway, so the two-headed horse navigates its way through the chimneys and rooftops of drowned Harroway under the rain. That would have made a great scene in the HBO TV series, except that they didn't adapt it. In fact, it's not in the one scene in the HBO TV series where this chapter is sort of adapted partially. It's not even raining, and there's the river. There's the river that they need to cross, and that's all we're told. I just watched it recently just to check, and that's all that there is to it. Unfortunate, because that makes for a great sailing through chimneys and rooftops of drowned Harroway under the rain. The whole scene looks miserable, actually. I mean, in real life, that's not. It wouldn't make you go, oh, that's so like romantic, so unusual. Ooh, like not if it was your own house down there under the water level. Yeah, I know. Stuff like that happens. But anyway, so it's when they get to the river proper that things get hairy. They should be approaching the other bank, but they keep being pulled downstream. Everybody's shouting, panicking, and for a moment, Arya is even thinking, what the hell? You know what? I could jump now. Splash. Huh? Of course, I would probably drown. Yeah, but still better than having to face Joffrey. It's only an uprooted tree. It's only an uprooted tree that's coming dangerously at them, that distracts her from her suicidal thoughts. The oarsmen desperately trying to avoid a collision with it. But the bloody thing keeps getting closer and closer. A guy manages to deflect it by pushing the hell out of it with a pole, and seems to temporarily solve the problem. But then the tree sort of turns and thud hits the other fella on the head, throwing him overboard. No, that's no good. And the current is so strong that he's immediately dragged downstream. And that's the last we see of him. It was not his day. And Arya keeps thinking, well, she's in denial. Yeah, maybe you'll just swim to the next available bank. Who knows? But probably not. So by the time they get to the other bank, okay, they've lost a man. We don't know what happened to him, but he probably drowned. They're a good 2 miles downriver. But at least they've made it. They've made it. Now the main ferry guy wants a compensation, though, because, can you blame him? He now demands an extra 3 golden dragons for the man he has lost. See, that's how the price for the life of a low... That's the price for the life of a lowborn. There you go. See, 100 times low. 1% of a highborn, apparently, in this universe. Hey, I don't make the prices. I'm just keeping track of it. But here, Sandor does something that really throws my currency ledger out of whack, because he hands the man something and goes, "Here, my good man, keep the change. You can have 10 gold dragons out of this thing that I'm handing you." And the thing he hands him is one of those famous IOUs popularized by Thoros of Myr. You know, every time the Brotherhood Without Banners went out there foraging, as it were, and they would repay farmers with these so-called banknotes. You know, there are chapters where Arya encounters farmers in Harrenhal, where these villagers are kept prisoners, and he goes, "Yeah, well, the Brotherhood Without Banners took my chickens and ox and sheep and whatnot, and they gave me a piece of paper I can't even read, and let alone eat. It's not I can't eat paper, can I? So yeah, and so right, yes. So apparently, this particular quote unquote banknote is worth 9,000 gold dragons. I mean, now really, come on. That throws my currency ledger out of. Come on, now everything seemed balanced. I know that when you're so long as you're making up money, you can dream up any amount you want, because you're never going to repay it. So as long as you're printing money out of thin air, like central banks. Yes, so 9,000 gold dragons. Well, why not 9 million? Since it's just a piece of paper, you can dream up any currency, any amount you want. Anyway, that's that. That it must be what Beric Dondarrion or Thoros of Myr must have given Sandor when they took his gold, I suppose. There you go. As a compensation, don't worry. We're giving you more than, because it's kind of interests and whatnot. There you go. There's your Bitcoin. There's your there's your Bitcoin. You don't spend it all at once. So the guy, the ferry dude, it scratches his head. He's predictably, puzzled. Looks at the piece of paper. Goes, but surely you said knight's honor. You said knight's honor. You're supposed to pay for. Do you remember that Family Guy meme? It only, to my knowledge, it only occurs twice. The desperate guy who sees a rule violated, and broken, and that rule must be so important to this guy's life that you're supposed to pay for you're supposed to pay for, you're supposed to stop for the hand. Okay, all right, enough. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. You said it's knight's honor. You're supposed to pay for the ferry ride. Yeah, I did say, this is Sandor now. I guess that's right, mate. I did say knight's honor. Because knights have no honor. You would think men of your age would know that by now. And if you didn't know, well, you do now. There. And off they go. Sandor spurs his horse while the guys are like, "Arr!" Shaking their fists at him, throwing rocks and threats, Karma is a bitch. You'll see. It's not over. Cloppity, cloppity, clop. That's the sound of the hooves, you see. Cloppity, cloppity, clop. Off they go. Sandor, Arya, back on Stranger's saddle. And much later, Sandor is still giggling to himself. Fooled them. I fooled them. Right. Good and proper. I fooled him real good. He's still just all smug, congratulates himself at how smoothly that transaction was handled. Because he's thinking, it'll be a while before that boat can cross again. And even when it does, the brothers without banners won't be able to pay with their usual bull crap IOU, The ferry guys must have wised up by now. Oh, life is great. At which point, Arya goes through her usual kill list, because you gotta have a lot of time to kill, on the road with Sandor. So she goes, Valar Morghulis. I'm not sure if I pronounce it right, but that's how I seem to recall. So she thought, okay, Sir Ilyn, Sir Meryn, King Joffrey, of course, Queen Cersei, Dunsen, Polliver. I don't actually know their surnames. Wrath the Sweetling, Sir Gregor, indeed, and the Tickler, and the Hound. Most definitely the Hound. These are the people on her kill list. And she has now incorporated her kill list with that new formula. I don't know actually which came first. I think first the kill list, then the formula Valar Morghulis, because why not? It's all thematically related. After all, Jack and Agar, the killings that she didn't get to see through in Harrenhal, but it's not adieu, it's not goodbye, it's just bonjour. Wait, it's not adieu, it's au revoir. I will see you all. You just you wait. That's what Arya is thinking every time she recites her own kill list. So they stop for the night, and the Hound can't seem to light a fire, no matter how hard he tries, because everything is wet around them, and it's been the whole thing is flooded. How do you expect? So that's too bad, actually, because Arya is doing poorly. Let's not forget, people don't have cough remedies, medicines, no sorts of aspirin. She's all shivery and sneezy. Still, not all is bad, because at least the Hound has some cheese and sausages to share with Arya. And sausages here being cured meats, hard salami, so to speak. Yeah, not charcuterie, I guess. Not actual sausages, soft, fresh sausages that you still have to cook, as in, sausages and bacon and so on. Spam, sausages, bacon and spam. Sorry, okay, you were probably not expecting that. I am whimsical today. But anyway, so in fact, I learned from a book, speaking of, sausages really being salami, or whatever variation, Krakowska, or, the saucisson, depending on what kind of, what country you're buying these things. But these are like hard, you can bang and bang, bang on a wall, not those you have to cook or saute in a frying pan. And I learned that these, I learned in a book, which is, what book? What was I think? Under the Volcano by Malcolm Lowry. I learned that Italian Americans who used to make and sell salami would call their product pepper sausages. Because their clientele, their target clientele, didn't have a clue what salami were. And so they called them pepper sausages to distinguish them from regular sausages that you had to cook. After the pepper grains that went in them, in salami, as a preservative. So pepper sausages. Hence, pepperoni. Yeah, we learn something new every day, don't we? There you go. You're welcome. Smug. So, yeah, as they munch on cheese and salami, the hound explains that he won't hesitate to kick the shit out of Arya if she tries to kill him again, even though, and I feel this is important, even though he isn't into beating up little girls. No. That's where I draw the line, he says. Oh, well, good for him. Wow, congratulations. My hero. You don't enjoy beating up little girls. Well, you're such a good guy after all. I guess I underestimated your generosity, magnanimous, heart. No, he has a point, because he's saying, okay, look, no, you see, no, you're not listening. Because, I don't know if you know this, but at some point, this is still the hound speaking, at some point, thanks to, never did I beat up Sansa, your sister Sansa, even though at some point, thanks to Joffrey, beating Sansa up was kind of like part of the job description of for the Knight's Guard, There, but I never did. In fact, I distinctly recall being gentle with her and, lending her my handkerchief, which was also clean, to wipe the blood from her lips. That's how, that's what a nice guy I can actually be. See, even with Sansa. Yeah, that's what he says. And I said, and why would Arya want to escape anyway? That's still, Sandor's, reasoning. She would only end up being captured by someone worse than the Hound, and still be taken to King's Landing, unless she gets captured by some Roose Bolton, some thug on Roose Bolton's payroll. That was my thinking on a first read. But Sansa, Arya remains skeptical. She goes, someone was, well, first of all, this is where Arya should have really taken the hint that the Hound wasn't taking her to King's Landing after all. But she did, and I found it strange, she didn't exploit the situation like by asking a follow-up question, like, okay, so if we're not going to King's Landing, where are we going? But apparently then you realize a few lines later that she didn't get the message, so the Hound has to spell it out clearly for her. No, we're not going to King's Landing. But no, all she says, she remains skeptical, and she says, well, someone worse than you. There isn't anyone worse than you. Oh, really? Clearly you haven't met my brother Gregor, who once killed one of his men for snoring. As a matter of fact, I will have you know that I have met that charming fella who goes by the name of the mountain that rides. Back when he caught me and took me to Harrenhal, in fact. I was just thinking about him, yeah? And all the scumbags who work for him, Dunstan Polliver, Raff the Sweetling, the Tickler and co. Wow, Sandor is all impressed. Wow. Well, impressed, I was surprised. Because, he caught you, and he never handed you to Tywin Lannister. That's fantastic. And this is too rich. He never knew he had Arya Stark. He never knew that he had Arya Stark in his grasp. Oh, that's too rich. Oh, that's fantastic. This feels so good. It must be fattening. Oh, that dumbass. I'll make sure to tell him that right before I kill him. Why she Arya, even though she doesn't find it all surprising, she goes, "But why would you kill your own brother?" I mean, I get it. Everyone who meets the mountain that rides, would like to have a go. Like, you would like to try and make the planet a better place by killing the mountain. But you, I mean, your family, I guess. And the Hound here, has a strange follow-up. He goes, well, why like you wouldn't have gladly killed one of your siblings, like your sister Sansa, for example? And she goes, no. She might have been a bit of a pain in the ass to me sometimes, because, oh, she's so bloody perfect. But no. I never wanted to kill her. To which the Hound just goes, yeah, whatever. And to think that I actually saved her from the mob, in King's Landing's riot, as historians have come to call it. You know nothing, Arya Stark. Blackwater Rush. Where do you think we're going? And finally, the penny drops, because once and for all, because Arya goes, so we're not going to King's Landing? No, no, that river was the Trident. I'm taking you to your family, Rob and your mum, Catelyn, because I figured, Beric and Thoros took my gold. Ha! All right, so I took you for the ransom, Rob is going to give me lots of gold for you. Let me guess, 300 gold dragons. Is that right, Hound? Is that what you're anticipating? Anything's maybe he's going to give me gold and also maybe like a post in his retinue, so I get to kill some Lannisters. I wouldn't mind that, if we meet them again in combat, in open warfare. I could do that. If he's smart, he's going to give me a post as a commander of sorts. Arya bursts his bubble because he will never give you a job, Hound. What are you, insane? How exactly is the Hound planning on delivering Arya to Catelyn and Rob? Like, hi, remember me? Formerly on the payroll of, your sworn enemies. I've got this. How does he think that they're not going to... That the Northerners are not going to surround him with their armies? Go, okay, well, look, if you want to live, maybe we'll let you live. If you just give up Arya, and then we'll discuss it. How does he think they're not good? Okay, I guess he might try and use her as a human shield or something. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Well, we'll see, won't we? Yeah, I guess we'll see. Or not. So anyway, so maybe your brother Rob, he won't give me a job. Rob won't give me a job. I wanted a job from Rob, but apparently not, because he's like, he's so goody two shoes, like his own dad. All right, okay. Everyone has to have a clean slate, If you want to have, no criminal records, if you want to enlist for the Stark army, is that the way of it? Okay, all right, I'll just take the gold. Not a problem. I'll just take the gold. And I'll be content. So now sleep, sweet Arya. Now sleep. Try not to kill me, and because we have an early rise tomorrow, and if we make good time, you know what? We might even get there in time for your uncle's bloody wedding. How did the Hound know all that? Did he? I mean, he wasn't. The Brotherhood Without Banners knew about this wedding between Edmure and oh God, I keep forgetting. Anyway, the Frey girl, Roslyn, that's her name, I think, and they knew that because they learned it from the ghost of Highheart, which means that since Arya is always eavesdropping those conversations every time they meet, well, twice, they meet the ghost of High Heart. Every time they consult her and ask her for her prophetic dreams, Arya is always listening. And in fact, we know of all that from Arya's. We know that the Brotherhood Without Banners is aware of this wedding at the Twins from the ghost of High Heart. We know all that from Arya's chapters. But how does the Hound know about it? In the TV series, they reversed that. I mean, they made Arya unaware of this wedding between her uncle Edmure and Frey girl Roslyn. They made her unaware of the whole thing, the wedding of the Twins, because they eliminated the ghost of High Heart from the TV series. Whereas the Hound justifies, knowing, having this piece of information, because apparently the whole countryside is talking about it. Okay, we're in the Riverlands. People talk. They might have met a few, farmers along the way. And, if that's the talk of town, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, bloody wedding. No, focus on that. Focus on that collocation, because we're getting closer and closer to that pivotal chapter, which kind of makes me nervous and excited at the same time. I don't know. There will be a lot to talk about when we do get there. But for now, this is where Arya IX ends, and this is where I shall leave you, dear listener. And if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to do the things, whatever those are. And I look forward to talking to you again in the next chapter, which I believe is a John chapter. So, yeah, something to look forward to. Bye.